All right, today we are diving into something huge, something I think we all grapple with: self-sabotage. We're going to be exploring this idea of an inner mountain of resistance, drawing on some really powerful insights from Brianna Wiest. So let's get right into it. I mean, it's such a frustrating feeling, right? You're so close to that thing you've been working for. Maybe it's a new job, a great relationship, or a big creative project. And then, out of nowhere, you start procrastinating. Or you pick a fight. Or you just completely shut down. It's like some invisible force is just slamming on the brakes. But here's a thought that kind of changes everything. What if that thing holding you back, that self-sabotage, what if it's not a flaw? What if it's actually an old, outdated survival mechanism, something that's desperately trying to keep you safe? That's the core question we're really going to dig into here. Okay, so let's start climbing this mountain within. The first thing to get is that this isn't about bad luck or other people getting in your way. Nope. The mountain is us. It's this deep, internal resistance that seems to pop up exactly when we're about to get the life we say we want. And this quote, which really gets at the heart of it, totally reframes the problem. This resistance we feel, it's not a weakness. It's an old intelligence. Think of it like this. It's a bodyguard that your mind hired a long, long time ago to protect you from some kind of pain, maybe rejection or shame. And it did a great job. The only problem is the danger is gone, but the bodyguard is still on duty, 24/7.
Okay, so this is where it gets really important. How in the world do you tell the difference? How do you know if you're up against a real, honest-to-goodness limit or just a self-sabotaging story that you've started to believe is the truth? Because, getting this wrong means you either burn yourself out or stay stuck for no reason.
And this chart here breaks it down so clearly. A real limit, it feels kind of calm. It's honest. Like, hey, I need another month to learn the software. It's specific, and it actually gives you a path forward. You can adapt. But a sabotaging identity? Whoa, that feels totally different. It's like a judge slamming down a gavel. I'm just bad with technology. See how vague and final that is? And if anyone questions it, you get super emotional and defensive. So we've established that this self-sabotage is like a shield. But a shield against what? What's the deep down fear that's so powerful it literally makes us get in our own way? Well, it turns out it's shielding us from some of the most primal human fears. There's shame, that deep, I'm not enough feeling. It's the voice that says, I'd rather just fail by myself than let everyone see me try and fail. Then there's the fear of collapse. This is the absolute terror that if you show people who you really are, they'll leave. It's also protecting you from raw vulnerability and that dizzying feeling of groundlessness. That what do I do now feeling that always comes with big changes. And here's the crazy paradox of it all. We think we want to change. We say we want to be happy. But deep down, our psyche often goes with the better the devil you know approach. A misery you understand feels safer and more controllable than a happiness you've never experienced before. That new freedom? It's completely unknown territory, and that can be absolutely terrifying. This leads to a really wild and maybe a little uncomfortable idea. What if a lot of what we call our personality isn't really our personality at all? What if it's just a really clever strategy we designed to avoid feeling those tough emotions? We literally build entire identities just to cope. I mean, just think about it for a second. The way you consistently show up in the world. Maybe you're the funny one, the quiet one, the super helpful one. A lot of the time, you can trace that back to a decision you made as a kid about the safest way to be, the best way to avoid getting hurt. Let's check out a few classic examples. First up, you've got the good one. You know this person. They're the people pleaser, the one you can always count on, the one who never asks for anything. It's a full-time job, really, making sure everyone is happy and no one is ever disappointed. But underneath it all is a huge fear. If I ever stop performing, if I ever show my own needs, everyone will leave. Then there's the flip side, the quiet one. This person's strategy is all about safety and invisibility. Their whole goal is to be small enough not to bother anyone. Because for them, to really be seen would mean being open to judgment, to criticism, to getting hurt. And of course, there's the strong one. But we have to be clear here. This isn't real strength. It's armor. It's a whole identity built on denying your own needs, your own softness. The core fear is being a burden to anyone. And the tragedy is, if that performance ever cracks, all the grief they've been pushing down comes flooding in. All right, so if you're listening to this and thinking, yep, that's me, what do you actually do about it? The first instinct is usually to just beat ourselves up, right? But that's just another trap. The real path forward is learning how to take responsibility with compassion, not contempt. And this difference right here, it's a total game changer. Responsibility looks forward. It's curious. It asks gentle questions like, okay, what was I really needing back then? What was I so scared of? There's space in it. Shame, though, just yanks you back into the past. It feels tight, constricted, and it only asks one question over and over. What is wrong with me? One is about growth, the other is about paralysis. This means that real self-forgiveness isn't some magical feeling that just shows up one day. No, it's a practice. It's something you do. It's about looking at those past choices, understanding the fear or pain that was driving them, and then, this is the most important part, making a new choice right now, today, to not walk away from yourself. And that brings us to the final, and honestly, the most hopeful part of all of this. This isn't about waging war on yourself or using brute force to change. It's about something much kinder. Gently building your capacity to actually have the life you want. So listen, the goal here is not more willpower. It's not about gritting your teeth and pushing harder. It's about building more capacity. Think of it like making your internal container bigger. You're expanding your ability to hold good things, to hold peace without manufacturing chaos, to hold love without sabotaging it, and to hold success without freaking out and running back to what's familiar. So how do we do that? Not with some giant, overwhelming life change. You do it with small, daily proofs that you're becoming someone new. First, practice honest attention. For just 1 minute, notice what you're actually feeling. No judgment. Second, pause before you react. When you feel that old impulse bubbling up, just stop. Take 3 deep breaths. Your entire future can change in that tiny little gap. Third, take 1 new action. Do 1 little thing your old self would never do. And finally, and this is the big one, stop abandoning yourself. Start speaking to yourself with respect, especially when nobody else is around. That's the real work. And in the end, that's what this is all about. Climbing this mountain within you isn't about defeating an enemy. It's about calling a truce. It's about ending a civil war inside yourself. A truly better life, one filled with peace and real joy, it begins the very moment you decide to stop walking away from yourself, and instead, you start coming home.